right here you have the pricing audit. Explain how that fits into all of this.
Yeah, so the example of, or where this came from was organization, actually multiple organizations came to us and said, when we sell these units, we need to look at them and discover and understand, did we sell them at the maximum price? And if we didn't, we need to be working with our sales team to correct that behavior. And the only way that you can tell that is you have to, in this particular case, you have to not only look at the value that you intended to sell it, which is in one system, but you have to look at what it actually sold for, which is in potentially another system, and do a bunch of calculations to compare all that stuff together. So we took and we're pulling that information directly out of multiple systems and then using our calculatable fields to tell a bunch of details about it. Now, the real problem occurs after, if you've identified that you need to flag a record and say, hey, this one didn't get sold for what we wanted to, you need to look into the details and understand why, which can be even more complex because you need to know information from the quote, from the stock unit, possibly service related information. And so what we've done is brought all of this together into one singular place so that you can figure out why it's where it's at very, very quickly without, again, bouncing into these different systems. So you can see here that this record that got created, this organization was looking to look at specific types of units that were sold. So you've got the actual inventory unit here itself. You've got the quote and all the details to it that you can click on and pull up. We even pull in the repair orders that were on it. If there's anything active currently or was closed so that you can see those. You can even see the purchase order and all the details that are on it on the right-hand side. So we're really providing them a real service here of consolidating all this data so that when it is off, you can see why and discover what to do. And the simple way in which we do that is with our calculated fields is look at what it should have sold for and what it actually sold for and tell you the difference. And now you can see, are people selling above or below what the recommended value is? This particular organization actually set it up so that they would put in a value into their system that would tell you what they wanted to sell it for. So that you can see that there's a value like the list price, there's a PO sale price, and then you can see what the actual discount was on something on top of it. So they can tell, did they sell above or below it? And that's where we can flag it. Now, there's some other complicated things in here that can happen, which again shows how robust our system is. When you have certain circumstances, like maybe something is on order and there's not a sale price for it yet or an expected sale price. In some cases, we may go to another or a different system to pull a value. So now we're bringing in a third or a fourth system into that where we go grab it under certain circumstances. But that's an example of something we can do if we know the conditions. It's an order versus a sale, and so we go to this other system to grab the values and pull them in. But the end result of it is all the same. You get a very simplistic list of the units, and then we can use tiles to tell, okay, these ones were over, these ones were under. We've got another way to indicate if things were leases or buyouts. And then beyond that, we can also add workflow processing into this. And what I mean by that is it's a way in which we can allow them to indicate that they have or haven't reviewed this. So you can see that in any one of these units, there's a flag up above to say that it's been reviewed or completed and looked at, which takes it off the list. So they get this constant queue of what they need to be looking at and reviewing, can make notes on them and such, but then can remove it off the list once they've dealt with it.
How much adapting can be done to these sheets on the fly? Or are they things that are built in advance and they just keep people focused on the important data?
Yeah, there is a lot that can be changed on the fly when it comes to the calculations and things that we're triggering outside of here in these tiles. The actual calculated fields that are out here, because this is using a lot of background integration to pull that stuff in, they can be relabeled and moved around and changed very easily. But if there's an additional calculation that's needed, that's where there would have to be some scripting or some configuration involved there.